Did you know that the ocean is home to millions of tons of gold? With a little bit of treasure hunting, we could have 9 pounds of it for every person on the planet. But gold isn't the only treasure the ocean holds. It is also home to 90% of life on Earth, including microscopic organisms like phytoplankton. And phytoplankton are far more valuable to us than gold. They actually create 70% of the oxygen that we breathe. Unfortunately, rising sea temperatures as a result of climate change and global warming are threatening these organisms, and this could have a drastic effect on all of natural life. Yet somehow very little is understood about these precious microscopic marine species, their interactions, and the vitamins they need to live and breathe. My research in the Bertrand lab focuses on these microscopic interactions, particularly with phytoplankton's cohabitants, marine bacteria. Phytoplankton and bacteria are often found together, living in the same ecosystem, and in an environment with scarce nutrients at best, they're frequently forced to share. But how do they go about this? Do these microbes pass nutrients back and forth, fight over them, or selfishly keep them all to themselves? Well, it turns out all three of these might be occurring, and much like in our own communities, interactions are complex and multidirectional. Some microbes produce nutrients, others consume them, and some need them to survive. My goal this summer was to begin culturing and isolating the bacteria who produce, consume, and require vitamin B12. You may have heard of B12 as a popular daily vitamin that helps with brain development and blood levels. In the ocean, this vitamin is essential for many microbial processes, but the way it's exchanged in phytoplankton and bacteria is relatively unexplored. I set out to better understand these relationships by figuring out which species of bacteria and phytoplankton are usually found together. Chances are, if you live around each other, you'll be more likely to interact and exchange nutrients. There are over 5,000 species of phytoplankton, which come in many different shapes and sizes. So to start, I used phytoplankton monocultures. These cultures were previously isolated so that they are made up of one single species. By culturing bacteria from these samples, I was able to learn which species of bacteria tend to associate with specific phytoplankton species. I then tried to learn more about the bacteria I obtained from these samples. Were they helping the phytoplankton by producing B12 for them, or did they also need the vitamin to survive? I grew these bacteria with and without B12 to see how they reacted. Some species struggled without the vitamin, which may suggest they consume it as well. In the future, I hope to learn about how these two microbes interact, their relationships with vitamin B12, and how they might react when exposed to the effects of climate change. I hope that this work will help us to understand how future impacts of climate change might affect these marine organisms, and increase awareness as to just how important these precious microbes are. Thank you.